The police said she probably just ran away. But 8 months later, a stray dog dragged home a blood-stained collar. And that collar, it cracked open one of the most disturbing cases the town had ever seen. What they found wasn't just a missing person, it was a predator hiding in plain sight. This is the story of Emily Rivers and the dog that wouldn't let her be forgotten. Emily Rivers was 19 years old, bright, quiet, and endlessly kind, the kind of person everyone described as harmless in the best way. She had just started her first semester at community college and worked nights at Mel's Diner in the small town of Hartridge, Oregon. She lived with her grandmother, walked to work, and kept her head down. She wasn't the partying type. She didn't date much. She read books, did crossword puzzles, and took care of her grandmother's garden. On October 27, 2022, Emily clocked out of her shift at 11:22 p.m. Security footage shows her leaving the diner, tying her jacket around her waist, and walking down Ashwood Street. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. She never made it home. At first, her grandmother thought she'd maybe stayed late at the diner. But when she called and got no answer, a sinking feeling set in. By 7 a.m. the next morning, she filed a missing persons report. The walk from the diner to Emily's house was 8 blocks. She usually took a shortcut through a wooded path near the railroad tracks. It saved her 2 minutes and was a habit. Police found her phone on that path. Face down, screen cracked. No case, no fingerprints. The battery had died. There were no outgoing calls or texts, just a half-written note in the Notes app, a grocery list. Milk, eggs, dog treats. There were no other signs of struggle, no footprints, no torn clothing, no blood, nothing. The police told the media there were no signs of foul play. They said she might have left town, that maybe she needed space, that she was an adult, and adults have the right to disappear. But the people who knew her, they knew something was wrong. Emily wasn't impulsive. She didn't have anywhere to go. She never even applied for a driver's license. She wasn't just gone. She was taken. Hartridge is a small town. When someone disappears, it doesn't stay quiet for long. Local volunteers searched the wooded trail, the parks, even nearby creeks. Flyers went up. Facebook groups were created. For the first few days, hope was high. But then the coverage slowed. News stations stopped calling. Tips dried up, and winter came. Police moved the case to inactive after just 32 days. No ransom, no credit card activity, no witnesses. Emily Rivers simply vanished. Her grandmother refused to give up. She called the station weekly, sometimes daily. She left her porch light on every night in case Emily came home. But the days turned into months, and the silence stayed. On July 5th, 2023, 253 days since Emily disappeared, something strange happened. Just 6 blocks from the Rivers house, an elderly woman named Teresa Milner was letting her dog, Daisy, back in from the yard. But Daisy wasn't alone. In her mouth was a blood-stained collar. It was old, leather, frayed around the edges, faded pink, and on the underside, embroidered in delicate thread, were 2 letters, E.R. Teresa called the police. Forensics arrived within hours. DNA tests confirmed the blood on the collar belonged to Emily Rivers. 8 months, no trace, and now a dog finds the only piece of her ever recovered. Suddenly, the case was wide open again. Investigators traced the collar's brand to a boutique pet store downtown. They'd only sold 6 collars with that style and thread color. One of them, purchased by Tara Goodman, Emily's best friend, as a gift. She told police, "Emily was nervous about walking home. I got her that collar for protection. It had a hidden panic button inside." That collar and the panic button were never found during the original search, But now, Daisy had found it. The next step, figure out where Daisy got it. Daisy had a habit of slipping under the back fence and roaming the woods. Police brought in scent dogs and followed the trail, and that trail led to a backyard no one expected. Charles Danner was 64, a retired mechanic who'd lived on Maple Street since 1992. He lived alone, quiet, routine. He wasn't on any registry, had never been a suspect, but Daisy's scent and Emily's collar both led straight to his backyard. His property was cluttered. Old lawnmowers, stacks of tires, rusting metal parts, and a small padlocked storage shed. When detectives asked Danner about it, he shrugged. "Just tools," he said. "Been locked for years." But when they brought in a warrant and cut the lock, what they found was far worse than tools. Inside the shed, it was dark, dust everywhere, mold in the corners. But the real horror was in the back, behind a fake plywood wall. A crawl space, barely tall enough to crouch inside, and in that crawl space, a freezer. When they opened it, the stench hit hard. It wasn't just Emily. There were two bodies. The second, a young woman named Jessica Green, who had gone missing 3 years earlier in a town 100 miles away. No one ever connected the cases. Until now. Danner confessed within 2 hours. No emotion, no resistance. He told detectives he collected girls who wouldn't be missed. Emily and Jessica were just the ones who fit best. In his basement, they found boxes of Polaroids, dozens of them. Girls, women, some crying, some unconscious, some smiling. None of them related to him. None ever reported missing. To this day, they still don't know who some of them are. Danner said he used dating forums, support groups, and even fake job ads to lure women in. Emily was different. He hadn't planned to take her. He said he saw her walking and couldn't stop himself. She was gone in under 40 seconds. Charles Danner received 2 life sentences without parole. In court, Emily's grandmother stood up and spoke softly. She was only a few houses away. She wasn't just missing. She was trapped. And we were right here. The town of Hartridge held a candlelight vigil 1 week later. Hundreds came. Emily's photo, smiling in her work uniform, sat beside a table with her cracked phone, the collar, and a single red candle. That collar, the one Daisy carried home, now sits in a shadow box at the police station. It's a reminder that monsters don't always hide in forests or faraway cities. Sometimes, they mow their lawns, wave to neighbors, fix your brakes, and wait. And sometimes, the only thing that brings justice is a dog who refuses to forget.